Shamps and giggles. History, news, views, and reviews from a black perspective. Shamps and giggles back for 2024. Oh my lord.
We're gonna clear the hands, are we?
Yeah.
Lord of mercy, welcome one and all to another fabulous evening with Shamps and Giggles. We are talking the things. I don't know what you're not talking about. It sounded really interesting though. Continue, man, continue. Don't let me interrupt you, Pet. He is in the building. Is he Toronto? I'm pouring a drink. What are you talking about? Carry on. Don't stop.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Well, what I brought to the group is that AstraZeneca now, AstraZeneca, the COVID vaccine company,
Yes.
pharmaceutical, they've now, the news, it's headline news, they've now admitted for the first time that their COVID vaccine has been causing and can cause serious blood clots, leading to the deaths of several people, more than several.
AstraZeneca.
AstraZeneca. No. They've only now admitted that their vaccine did cause and can cause a serious blood clot, a rare effect.
How can they? I need a drink. How can they admit that? Do you know? I don't mean how can they admit? Oh my lord!
Yeah. So the families are taking them to court over it because they've lost loved ones through this vaccine.
Everyone's been affected.
Yeah, and the vaccine, as they say, is supposed to help families, but this particular one, they already had Pfizer, which was taken off the shelves because that had some serious flaws in it. And they after they gave certain people this Pfizer vaccine, because a lot of people had thousands, probably millions of people had the Pfizer vaccine, and then somewhere along the line, scientists must have realized it's causing some serious side effects. So they disbanded that. They took it off the shelves. And now we're hearing, this is only within the week or 10 days ago that AstraZeneca has now confirmed that their vaccine has caused rare side effects. Yeah, that's correct.
AstraZeneca admits COVID-19 vaccine may, notice the language they use though, may cause blood clots in very rare cases.
Yeah.
So they're not giving much away here. I mean, they'll have you in court for 10 years.
And I think that's what some of our members are saying. That's why they don't think they'll pay out. But I think that AstraZeneca will have to pay out to the families. It will drag on, I think, but the government, because they are in partnership with them to produce these vaccines for the COVID, the government have got some sort of legal clause written into the contract that if anything should happen, that they won't get what's the right word? They won't be forced to pay out. It's AstraZeneca.
AstraZeneca made the product. The government did the marketing.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a clause, and it's the taxpayers that will end up paying, and it could be as much as 100 million that's being paid out to various and some.
If they're giving man 25 million to get a bus lit because you get beat up by two officers, these people are dying. Families being torn apart. People have got life-changing, medically induced injuries that they're just not going to recover. Damn. That is so hurtful. To be fair, so Toronto, you have your hand up. Part of things. Yep.
Yeah. So eventually, they're all going to have to pay out because at the end of the day, the rush to market to get the vaccine onto the market was unprecedented. Never in the history has vaccines been rolled out because there is a protocol and there is a process around testing, side effects. Yeah. The second piece I want to say is that eventually somebody also is going to pay out. And I'm going to give you an example, smoking.
Yeah.
Smoking is really bad for you.
Yeah.
The cigarette companies for decades, years, oh no, we're not paying anything. We're not paying anything. We're not paying anything. Guess what? Cigarette companies had to pay out.
Yeah.
They knew that they had a product, and yes, it's voluntary when you put that cigarette to your mouth,
Yeah.
you're going to get sick. So, and the last example of where big companies, pharmaceuticals, whatever companies do have to pay out money, and it does take a long time, but there is an eventuality, and that's where the precedent has been set. Johnson & Johnson baby powder, full
Yeah.
of asbestos, causing women to have cervical cancer. It took about 10 to 15 years. Guess what? Johnson & Johnson had to pay out.
Wow. So they pay out eventually. But you know, what they pay out, I think it's a small percent of the profits though, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the thing with Johnson & Johnson, the product that had the asbestos in it, they had tons of it in their warehouse. How did they dispose of it? They sent it down to countries like South America and Africa and Caribbean countries. They didn't dash it out.
No. Where the law doesn't,
They
the law
didn't
over there allows them to get away with it.
Right. So these other countries, oh, what the heck? We're not going to get rid of our stock. We'll sell it, you know, South America, Africa, the Caribbean. So, you know, I think with the COVID vaccine, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson at one point had a vaccine, I believe. They're all going to have to pay out money eventually because they didn't. Yes, it was a national world crisis, according to them, fabricated in my opinion. But eventually, I have examples of 40-year-old men, healthy men, having massive heart attacks and just dying.
Yeah, yeah, we kept hearing about it.
Right, just dying after they've taken the vaccine. So there's going to be a lot of fallout from this pandemic financially.
This is like heart-wrenching because obviously you know people who have taken it, and therefore, I mean, some of us in the room have taken it because remember we had the discussion, and we weren't to say whether you take it or not take it. It's a personal decision. But I remember we had discussions on it, and it was like, boy, I hope. And to find this out now, I mean, you know, any one of us could be affected. You know, I remember Yolande, where is she? They were forcing her to, with her job, innit? If she didn't take it,
medical.
she would have lost her job because it's NHS or something. Meanwhile, she'd been working there so long, so she lose the pension the whole night. I mean, it's really hard. You know, they're really forcing you to do something you don't want to do, and they're putting all these strings on it. And now they're admitting that this thing could. I mean, come on, it's just. Leisha, you got your hand up. Coming to it's just so wrong. Leisha.
Touching it very, very briefly, which is what I wanted to say, which is this goes a bit more deeper than just the vaccination, the companies that issue the vaccination. I'm reading the WHO organization, World Health Organization. All the countries got together and they discussed releasing this vaccination across the world. And then what they did was they filtered it down to everybody, businesses, people, everybody. People weren't allowed to work unless they had the vaccine. Medical professionals, people worked in, you know, had contact with people. All these different professions, they could not work unless they got the COVID vaccination. Otherwise, they would lose their jobs. Yeah. So who's going to be responsible to pay them out? Is it going to be the employer? Is it going to be the World Health Organization? We trust the World Health Organization. They are the people that we trust. Is it going to be the government? Is it going to be Pfizer or AstraZeneca? Who is it going to be? So, like I was saying before we came on, this is going to be drawn out because they've tangled the web so deep that who do you plant the blame actually on? And those people who didn't want to take the vaccination were pushed and pushed and pushed. Some were threatened with their jobs.
You were, yeah.
They were threatened with their jobs, and they held tight. And then eventually, because they lifted the ban on travel and said everything was fine, the COVID vaccination no longer became important. You see, so I mean, the example that Toronto gave of the smoking, the cigarettes and stuff. The thing is that the government's never pushed you to smoke, but they pushed the people to take COVID vaccination, and they pushed the businesses to push the people to take the COVID vaccinations. That's the difference.
Key workers, maybe you have to be a key. Come on. And with the care homes. And you go on and on. WD, I believe that's Watkins. Am I right?
Yeah, I was just gonna make the point that with regards to people losing their jobs because they refuse to take the vaccine. Again, this is all news, but in America, there was a law that came out, a ruling that if somebody lost their job or they could not go into work because they refused the vaccine, the employer still had to pay them. That came out, yeah. You guys look online, have a look online and see if that.
It's recent.
No, this was about 6 months ago. Or probably
so they're getting back pay.
You have to back pay them, yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, so check online and see if that's relevant. I'm pretty sure that was a normal news and so on.
Yeah, but that's the people who, at least they're alive. I mean, we're talking about in these rare cases, an admission from AstraZeneca that their drugs, COVID-19 vaccines, literally causes problems. An admission. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, you really look at what, I mean, we all went through it. We all shared the stresses and the depression and, do you know what I mean? We all went through it, talked about it, comforted each other, like, oh Lord. And now the genie's out of the bottle. Yes, it does cause problems. I mean, Pinky, your hand is up. Come on. And it's more problems than you can even imagine, because of course, as you said, Watkins, is back paying people who were refused work for not having the vaccines. But then what about the people who took the vaccines? And I mean, how do you prove the ailment came from the vaccine? It's, the ailment can happen years down the line. So how do you prove that? It's just a mess. Pinky, sorry, go on.
Well, they said this is the top 10 COVID events of the year that you never heard from the mainstream media. 1, FDA and the CDC find more COVID vaccine adverse events, including stroke. 2, vaccine cannot effectively control COVID. Fascia, what was his name? Fauci said after resigning, because he had to resign in the end, yeah? 3, gold standard reviews finds evidence of masking uncertain. 4, repeated vaccination weakened the immune system, studies suggest. 5, researchers found that the mRNA COVID-19 vaccine contained, which is what they're now admitting, DNA fragments, including controversial, which I read out before, SV40 genes previously undisclosed to the public. That's the one now what they've now admitted. 6, in April, the US government compensated people injured by the COVID vaccine for the first time. 7, the FDA explicitly recognized that the doctors do have the authority to prescribe medication to treat COVID. Lawyers Ashley Young and Howard admitted. 8, the DC admitted that the latest booster, that was one they're telling everyone, the booster ability to prevent severe COVID, hospitalization, and deaths from COVID was lower for adults and very low for children and infants. 9.
What are you reading
As,
from, by the way?
as of November 2023, all of the FDA documents in relation to Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for the age 16 and up have been released. So all the information has been released. 10. While the COVID-19 mRNA vaccine is on the market, were advertised as messenger RNA, meaning naturally occurring. That's what they wanted to say, that these some things were naturally RNA in the body. Documents from Pfizer and the studies on Moderna vaccine showed that the actual mRNA used is modified and this was modified RNA or Moderna.
They might change up the things then to make you think.
I mean,
it's not.
Yeah, because a lot of it is like, it's, you know, when you unpack it, but the fact of the matter remains is that you can sue. You can. And here in the UK, they've I remember seeing you guys as a prime minister. I can't remember his name so much.
You
What he's
guys
wrong.
in
Yeah, you
your
know,
way?
what's his no, it's not my prime minister. What's his prime minister? Your prime minister's name?
I ain't got no problem.
Richie. Right. He already did interviews with a group of people. I think it was, I'm not sure if it was on one of those question time, but where they were talking and he was saying that there is funds here already in the UK for people who have had adverse effects. I don't know about the disease.
Well, they said 100, was it 120,000? Remember we talked about it.
Well,
Like
I know they
We're like, that's not
definitely
enough.
188,000.
Yeah, that's not enough.
I know for National Health Service did take the vaccine. I don't know about the wider thing, but I definitely know for the health.
So just for reference purposes, the top 10, where's you getting that from?
Oh, well.
Just for our radio listeners, so that
it's,
you know,
sorry, they wouldn't be able to get it. It's private, all private groups. It's a whole load of people that talk about.
Oh, you got it from your private sources, did you?
They are very private sources, but they're very good private sources. But what I mean, everything goes in there.
The FDA and CDC are not telling you, or is not in the media. That
well, it's not going to be in. No, it's not in readily in the media, but you know, it's definitely in the social media because, of course, you have people who have been speaking out about this from the time it began.
When you hear about
2019,
stroke, when you hear about strokes, and then you actually know people that's had a stroke, it's like, hang on, you know what I mean? It's like, come on now, you know, this here vaccine, it's just so wrong. A friend of mine had a stroke. You know, Ben, he's 58, 59. All of a sudden,
Canada's also very much leading because Canada, and that was dated April 27. So Canada, it says Health Canada on Thursday confirmed the presence of the DNA contamination for Pfizer COVID-19.
Do you know what's so sad about this? Really?
So that's out in the news. That's out. That's under. I'll tell you what that's under. Children's.
She's looking at other sources.
Children's health. Listen to what it's under. Children's health defense.org defender Canada Canada-DNA contamination Pfizer COVID vaccine. That's what that's under, and that's for Canada. Actually, I might be able to forward this.
Yeah, you know, and here's the thing, it's so sad. I think, Keith, you alluded to this, or you lot had all been talking about it, is that truth be told, nobody's going to prison. Nobody's getting, nothing's happening to any of them. AstraZeneca's going to keep on doing business as usual. Pfizer, business as usual. A little slap on the wrist. Nothing happening, none of them, they're all good, you know. Most of the money they got, it'll still be in their pocket. Oh, my goodness. You know, I talk about the health service who said it? Lisa said about even WHO, World Health Organization. I mean, what? Can you trust these people? I mean, can you trust these people? I mean, seriously? These people tell you go left. I mean, do you really go left? Or, I mean, you really have to. It just undermines the whole system. They're mass murderers. They're crazy cousins. Trust them at your peril. They are literally that's mass murderers. I mean, people from all over the world. And I was just on a job the other day. Remember the guy, the president of Tanzania? Is Tanzania? Tasmania? Or what? Anyway, out them ways there. Customers from there. And the guy, he died. He was a president who sent the goat's blood and just rainwater to be tested, and it came back COVID positive. And he said, look, this is a load of foolishness. I'm not going to have my country sign up for the vaccine. You do know that, I think we talked about it. The man dead, you know. Somebody else take over, all kind of chaos going on over there. And here it is, these people have now said, oh, our vaccines do cause problems. I just can't. Lisa, your hand is up. I so can't. I can't.
The thing is that we trust the WHO organization every single day, from the paracetamol we take to the streets we walk, everything, you know, we have to, we trust them, the water we drink, on
the shelf.
I wouldn't be as harsh as you say in what you said earlier on. I would mostly say that, you know, everything's got to be done with caution and taken with caution. Everything you do has got to be taken with caution. But yeah, that's what I have to say, really.
You know, they are it is mass murder. It is mass murder. If you or I did it, they would be locked up. If I gave my child something that was not...
They said we can't say that.
Okay, we can't say it. But I would be locked up in a heartbeat. These people just gave the whole world. You must do this. It's quite funny. You know, I cannot say mass murderers. It's an allegation, but you know, the term mass murder means when you kill a lot of people. We can't call them murderers because, of course, they didn't know the vaccine would kill people. No, they didn't know that. They didn't know there'll be side effects that are perilous. But I do believe they made people sign a waiver that said it could be perilous, la, 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 la. But you have to sign here to take it. I do believe they made it made people aware of the side effects, including death.
I think
we can't say nothing against them. No, of course not.
I think really we've got to understand something, and that is, was it licensed or was it not? Because even if you check the Sunday the Telegraph, and it must be online, because they said here in the Telegraph, they put Pfizer discredited industry with and I said this already, unlicensed vaccine promotion. Go to the Telegraph. It would have been dated somewhere around the 16th of April. That's when I picked up the information. So it says Pfizer misused social media to misleading and illegally promoting their COVID vaccine. This message contains limited information about the vaccine effects, no safety information, and no reference to adverse events. The greatest pharmaceutical fraud in the history of medicine is finally beginning to get some attention. So if we go to if I highlight what it says in the Daily Telegraph, it actually said Pfizer has been accused by the UK, pharmaceutical watchdog of bringing discredit on the industry after senior executives use social media to promote an unlicensed COVID vaccine. The company has been found to have breached the regulatory code 5 times, which also includes making misleading claims, failing to maintain high standards, and promoting unlicensed medicine. A ruling by the pharmaceutical watchdog, the Prescribed Medical Code of Practice Authority, related to the complaint about the message posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, in November 2020 by senior Pfizer employees. The complaint raised concern about Pfizer's misuse of social media to misleading and illegally promoting their COVID vaccine. According to the ruling, they claimed that such misbehavior or social media was more widespread than they had thought, and extended rights to the top of their UK operation to complain center on a social media post X by Dr. Berkeley Phillips, the medical director of Pfizer UK. He shared a post from an employee of the Pfizer in the US, which said our vaccine candidates is 95% effective in preventing COVID-19 and 94% effective in people over 65 years old. We will file all our data with the health authorities within days. Thank you to every volunteer in our trial and to all those who are tirelessly fighting this pandemic.
So we are talking about, we have to go to break now, but we are talking the vaccine and the admission that the vaccines do cause injury. Unbelievable. Thank you for the reading there, Pinky. We'll review after these words.
Sean is a serious thing I go on in Jamaica, and I can tell you something. All right, good. Yeah, good. All right. Half a month to go a jail, my brother crash off a bike. Me lose me visa, but everything nice. Big up the teacher, car free, which are bright. No worry about the car way. I'm okay, because me clean every day. Clocks and my beat me change 3 times a day. Buy out any bar, cause me have money fi pay. You know it's a rasta not stray. I'm okay. For look a girl, me no shy. Money stack and pipe, straight up to the sky. Batman serious, me not tell a lie. Me not turn no GUI. I'm I couldn't wait them a stop. Dig up the sign, make a plant up the crop. All ganja man, you know how me a chat. The other day me police stop. Them say Beanie Man, me a some of other ride and crash. Bound to go to jail, but him just come back. Trooper put it by YouTube, I hear thing that. My career them not stop. I'm okay, because me clean every day. Clocks and my beat me change 3 times a day. Buy out any bar, cause me have money fi pay. You know it's a rasta not stray. I'm okay. Look a girl, me no shy. Money stack